Hi everyone. In today's video I want to share a personal story about being halfway through a 100-day yoga practice. And I'm doing the practice in order to integrate some of my own personal shadows. So I will tell you why I'm doing the personal challenge and then also what has come out of it so far. I shared this video in love. I hope it'll be received in love. The door is open. Come inside. Okay, so as I told you before in the intro, I'm going to be talking about a 100-day yoga practice that I have embarked on this summer. And so far I'm 50 days into that practice. So I thought I would tell you why I'm doing it and then what has come of it so far. So to start with, perhaps some of you remember that at the beginning of summer I talked about waiting, that I'd discovered a habit, I suppose, of waiting. And when I went to look in my birth chart, I discovered places there that waiting exists. So one of the particular placements I kind of looked a little bit deeper into, and I found that there were some other shadows that are present in me in that same placement, or one of the placements of waiting. And the shadows that I'm talking about are one of belonging, or in fact the shadow is of not belonging. Specifically, I'm talking about Saturn in Cancer, and of course that is a generational placement to some extent. Everybody born around the time that I was born will have Saturn in Cancer. That's not to say that necessarily they'll have the same shadows, but for me, it was this sense of not belonging. Another thing that I came to understand about myself was that I had a general feeling of not feeling safe in my body, not feeling safe in the world. And this is also part of that particular placement. And then there is a matter of permanent stress, of having a nervous system that is constantly activated. And it was this particular thing, although all three of those in general, that brought me to decide to do a 100-day yoga challenge. And why 100 days? Because I believe that 100 days is going to instill in me a habit of consistency. And certainly when I'm thinking about the things that have come of this practice, consistency and commitment is probably the first and foremost thing that has developed, or I say that I have discovered about myself. I perhaps before thought that I wasn't consistent or committed, but in fact my ability to show up on the yoga mat every day for 50 days so far has shown me that I am in fact committed and consistent. And it's not just a commitment to discipline, it's a commitment to myself, a commitment to showing up for myself. And this ideally is going to really instill in me a sense of belonging. Then I've just mentioned the discipline. That's another thing that has emerged out of this 50-day practice, is a recognition of my own discipline. And for some reason I thought that I wasn't disciplined. I am now 70 days into giving up alcohol for the second time in my life, and this is the last time I'm giving up alcohol. So that is, of course, great discipline. I, in my past, was a smoker. I gave up smoking. That's another way that I've been really disciplined. But showing up on the yoga mat, regardless of how I was feeling, is a great discipline, and so something that I'm feeling quite proud of. Then I say no matter what emerges on the yoga mat. So some of what has emerged on the yoga mat, it has been pain in my hips. This is in part, I believe, detoxifying from the alcohol that I am 70 days into. It is also because I'm in the menopausal stage of life, and so I have some hormones that are trying to find balance, and that is causing some pain in my hips. But investigating that Saturn in Cancer on its own would produce pain and trauma and old stories coming out of my hips. So that has certainly happened, and I initially tried to sort of control my healing, control that I'm on the yoga mat for 50 days in a row, and so what I expect of my body is that it be more spacious, and that I can I'm flexible and longer, when in fact what I've been feeling is constricted and achy and stiffness, and very, very recently, probably on day 48, I realized that I actually have to surrender to the process. I have to surrender to the pain. I have to trust that the pain, the reason that it's in my hips in the first place is because I couldn't hold it in my heart and my mind. It was painful going in, it's painful coming out. And if I surrender to the process and I trust the process, eventually I will allow all of the pain to come out in its time. So that's my journey so far. 50 days into the challenge. I am really pleased that I've undertaken the practice. I'm looking forward to what emerges in the next 50 days. And I can with authority of my own body and my own self say that some of the things that I was hoping to integrate are certainly, and more than belonging, and more than a sense of safety, and more than a sense of calm. I'm also finding that I'm disciplined and committed, and that I'm able to surrender to things that I can't control, and my body is one of those complicated things that in some ways I can control. I can control what I put into it. I can control what I consume, but I can't always control what is happening in the unconscious parts of myself. I have to allow trust and surrender to allow things to emerge. So that is my story so far. I will put the Instagram handle for the 100-day challenge under this video. You can support me there, or just come and see me namaste every day. And yes, so if this video has stirred in you a desire to commence with your own shadow work, and you'd like to work with me, my contact details will be below this video. And if you think that family or a friend or a foe even would be interested in the content of this channel, please feel free to share it with them. If you have something to share yourself about this video, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. The door is open. Come inside.